You get when name come because me
My name is Garth, otherwise known as Big G.
My name is Richie Blackford.
Mrs. Griffiths would have been very proud of our daughter, Marcia, even though she reluctantly allowed her into the music business. Marcia went.
Yeah. All we need to do is to recognize that if we put investment in, we are revitalizing communities. How we deal with small man? And so the sound system started to come up. The sound system was the small man entertainment. And
In Nimitelo, Toots, Mr. Frederick Hibbert himself, and the Matos.
His mother, Prince Buster, had his imprint all over it. You know? And
unmistakable sound of the Unmetered Taxi, 1981. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Sunday Scoops, first for the new year. Happy New Year, all the best for 2022.
And if you're joining us for the first time, you're gonna be in for a real treat today. We just wanna honor the memory of a man and the contribution of a man who, reggae music has been the same since himself and the other half of that duo came into the fray. His parents christened him Robert Warren Dale Shakespeare, and he was born on September 27th of 1953. Unfortunately, he left us on the 8th of December of last year, and we're talking about none other than the late, great Robbie Shakespeare. We have in studio with us, live from all over the place, the great, call the name of the God, man? The great Sly Dunbar, right?
And of course, the Honorable
yes,
Copeland Forbes.
Yeah. And we know that Dr. Dennis Howard will be joining us later on. What a nice cap that Copeland have on. Look, we need to go down here and hold up. Welcome to Sunday Scoops, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us on behalf of the taxi group.
Sly?
It was great to be here,
Well,
Definitely.
listen,
A good evening.
this show is essentially you guys' show, right? We are basically hosting because the history of the music that we all love, reggae music, is wrapped up in you guys, the years you guys have been in business. 40, 50 years, that's a lot of time, and we're gonna use this program to refamiliarize our listeners, the viewers, and to lay the foundation for showing and paying the respect to the memory of a man who is the base part of reggae music. And of course we have the drum king with us, the rhythm kings, or the rhythm twins, if you want to call it that. Yeah. So again, once again, welcome, gentlemen.
And interestingly, Richie, this show is also about Sly, because we can't tell Robbie's story without telling your
absolutely,
story.
Yes.
Because they're so inextricably intertwined.
Why?
We can't separate them at all.
I want to say this too, because Sly, just, as we prepared for the show, one of the things we observed, and we have a little team here that run Sunday Scoops, the Yard Media team. You guys were friends. This is the kind of friendship that you only read about that, and the more we dug. I mean, we all grew up with the music. We grew up with you guys, from the days with Bonnie Lee and the Aggravators and the Channel One days and so on. Yeah, so we know where you guys come, but is learning about the relationships, and if nothing else, the massive takeaway, certainly for us here at Yard Media, is about a relationship. The man, as Robbie Shakespeare said, I must say 3 weeks in his life, him not, at the longest, him not the monks Sly. I mean, what more can I say?
True. Sure.
Tell us about Robbie. And again, this is what the show is about, Sly, because we want to hear from you. You guys were there from the beginning, so you start anywhere.
Well, Robbie is a nice person, and I used to listen to some of the stuff we used to play with our aggregators, and I remember we used to go down by Randy's, now probably a place called Eyeglass Rest, and all the musicians used to meet up there. Producers, everybody selling records to the country people when them come in and go back inside Randy's and ask them to play for the countryman. And sometimes I take 6 records, 2 records, sometimes if I take a box, it's good business that day, So, so me and Robbie used to...
You're breaking up.
Stand up on the corner. We just talk about the music and everything like that.
Right.
So I told him I was going, but apart from that now, I used to play a club called Tit for Tat Club. Robbie used to play in a club called Evil People Club.
That's on Redder's Road.
Redder's Road, right? So there's a keyboard player called Tota. Know me very good because they played on this Dennis Brown song called Money in My Pocket, the original version,
yes.
not the version. And Tota was the organ player on it, so Tota told Robbie, said, let me take you over here, sir. I jump over with him, Sly. I want you to listen to him, so Robbie came over, so at the end, Robbie said, well, I'm wicked. So Robbie immediately called Bonnie Lee, Striker, and said, boy, I took a session with this drummer, So they booked Channel One studio, and we did the first track we did was a John track. And the rest is history after that. And then what happened is, Peter was going to embark on his first tour, and I was on tour with Dennis Brown in England. I came back, and Robert said, boy, I needed to come and join Peter Touchman. I said, no problem. But before that, we had cut Equal Rights album, and it was out and everything like that. That's the first project, and decided to tour. So we started sharing the music, same thing about what we like about the music, what we think we can do to the music. Robbie come by Channel One. He became a part of the Revolutionaries. I mean, I was there some making records, making music, and then we said to him, we have to start owning ourselves because we're just musicians. And a new kid might come on the block and the producer like him, and they don't want me to play no more. So what we can do, we can try and record ourselves, produce ourselves, and then we are free to release a record whenever we want to. So don't care the producer, don't release a record with us. We gonna release our own stuff. And he said, yes, so I started on that journey and bam, 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 bam. Still recording producer, coming out, can't stop it because the little grizzly will come from them, Bam, bam. Robert check Greg Rise, like a Greg Rise, rock and come in and Greg Rise did 6 songs for us for showcase, and the next day was voicing time and Greg was at the studio before me and Robbie got there ready to voice,
Yeah.
And the first came out from that session was a song called Soon Forward. It was the first #1 record for us, and Robbie smiled and said, okay, and we're ready for it now, and then we start working on the sound, and we got the sound to where we think we wanted. Went into a Peter Touch, come back and touring all over, and it was just history.
Well, we're gonna touch for the listeners, and I'm coming to you, Copeland. I know I see you chomping at the bits there, Copeland. We're coming right to you, right? But I'm going to just touch a little piece of that tune, Sly. Sue Forward, Greg Riser.
Sue Forward, come turn me on. You told me that you're so forward. Come turn me on now. Turn your lamps down low now. 'Cause we ain't gonna linger no more. In a time like this, I know the feeling is so hard to resist.
Boy, it must have been an amazing feeling to come out so early, Sly. And because that record was a huge success, if I remember.
Yeah, but it was a big success for Taxi. It was #1 for Taxi Records.
Right.
Yeah.
Copeland.
Yes, sir.
I know you've been chomping at the bits. Let me hear a little from you here.
Well, all right. First, I must let you know that my first encounter with Sly was 1973. This is something that you're going to hear for the first time. When he came as a 14-year-old boy with a band named Skin, Flesh and Bones to New York. I was living in the New York area. And we did 21 shows in 1 week. 7 days, 3 shows per day for Earl Harris. Right? And this little 14-year-old boy, I said to Lloyd Parks, where this youth come from? And him said, Waterhouse, Right, a nice youth, man, with him quiet, but when him go up on the drum and play like hell. And I sat and watched him, and on that show was Cynthia Richards, Roy Shirley, Lord Bitterbush, Sparrow, Rose, a whole bunch of people. But that was my first encounter with Sly, because I get to know Sly first before I actually get to know Robbie. My second encounter with Sly now was when I was managing the Mighty Diamonds, and we were going to the UK to do the first ever UK tour, right, with the Revolutionaries, right, and Sly was the drummer in the band. It was that year when almost every group was getting signed to record labels all over the place, so musicians were all over. So Sly was the drummer on that trip. And then my first encounter, with Robbie, would you believe it? It was in 1975 when he was a member of the Aggravators, but they call themselves, with Burning Spear, the Black Disciples, right? And they came to New York about 2-3 weeks after Bob played Central Park at Schaefer Festival. And let me tell you something, that aggregation of musicians, which consisted of Earl Chinna Smith, Robbie, Tota, Dirty Harry, Horsemouth, and a biting horn section, came and laid down a mark that everybody said it was equal to what Bob did 2 weeks before, or probably even stronger. As a matter of fact, anytime you see Alpha Blonde, he's going to tell you that that show with them in Central Park was what gave him a job in reggae music, because he was going to college in New York. And then he heard the music playing and he went into Central Park. And that's where he started to observe the Black Disciples with Burning Spear as a 3-man singing group at Schaefer Festival. And then we did another show though in New York in 1977 at Madison Square Garden. So I can remember that, when we had now the Black Disciples and the Revolutionaries, right, on the same show with the Mighty Diamonds and Burning Spear. And that's where my introduction to Sly and Robbie actually started in individual, until we became as a group of us together with Peter Tosh, when I was recruited to work with the organization in 1979, right? And would you believe it, right? I didn't start it out in what people know me to be. It's like I remember, I started out in that organization as Peter's personal assistant, and everybody was saying, what? Peter's personal assistant? And they said, yes, because Sly said he was a Boy Scout, and he can cook, he can iron, and the best person for Peter at that stage. But the only problem I had, I never cook Ital food yet. And that's where my learning skill come now, to cook Ital food.
Well, so only point a little bit, Coppola, because this thing, I'm listening to some, the one thing about working with Sly, I will tell you this, I'm learning that very quickly. When you talk about a man who live his profession, because Sly near the drone me with material, right? we love it though, because it gave us the direction where we wanted to go with the show. Peter Tosh, though, Sly, seemed to have been a marker in terms of you guys' development, yourself and Robbie.
Yeah, man. Peter was the one who took us to the international arena.
Yes.
And Robbie, because Bob was on the road and Peter was embarking on his first tour. Carly and Family One was the rhythm section that used to dominate the recording scene in Jamaica. And then Robbie and myself pick up the recording scene in Jamaica. And then Peter, we were going to be Peter backing band, rhythm section. So when Peter launches the tour, everybody wanted to see what Peter's going to sound like, if he's going to make it. So everybody came out to the show to, find out what was happening, if it's going to work or what. And so Robbie and myself went to Peter, and that's how we got connection with international world. As a Sly and Robbie team, I've been there ever since.
Robbie made a comment, Sly, that he said, with Peter, you never know where you're going to get on a given day. He said, Peter come into the studio, and Peter said, we'll record today, and have couple tune. And he said, when Peter produce a tune, Peter might have one verse, and he might have a little chorus, but the card them he might have all over the place. And he said, that's what Peter bring come. And he said, you both yourself and both himself and you, Sly, literally had to make the tune, right? So him say you could easily put Sly and Robbie on the label instead of Peter Tosh. Tell us about that.
Well, the thing with Peter now, Peter give us a lot of freedom to work. He never really to play that anything. So what me and Robbie did was make sure that the song that he's in is in the right groove, because sometimes come with it a little bit faster, or might say slow down to this tempo, and then we cut it, because we're doing all the recording session. We know exactly what was in the street,
Right.
So for example, like Buckingham Palace. It started out as a groove. Robbie and myself was playing like this groove came from a song called Rasta Pacer from Sly's Second Wicked album. And it's the same group I played on Master Group with Stepping Out of Babylon. So me and Robbie was just jamming, and Peter took up his guitar and started playing, and he started singing, light up your split, light up your chalice. So me and Robbie look at one another, they keep on it and Buckingham Palace. And I said, that's so wicked. And Peter started singing and putting words to the song, and Robbie didn't get involved, everybody get involved. And said, this is great, and we just cut the track. And then Michael Chong was the one who did the arms arrangement and the guitar arrangement for it, and the rest is history for Buckingham Palace. But Peter gave us a lot of freedom. Even playing on stage, he gave us freedom. We used to organize the set list, tell them what song to play. Like if we were playing on a festival, we took out the song which we think not gonna work, and I said, sing this song. And I said, okay, let's sing. So I think that gave us the kind of freedom to develop our skills.
We're having a little
That's the one, you know, one Nick boxing. But beat like this, I am the leader.
Yeah, we're losing a little bit here, Sly. So here what we're gonna do. Let's give the listeners a taste of Buckingham Palace. We're losing a little bit, Sly, in terms of the audio. So we're gonna let's give we're just gonna run to that song, Buckingham Palace, and we come right back
Okay.
here.
Okay. Excuse me 1 minute.
As far as I can see, I say that this your music, reggae music, it's got a spell on me. This your music, Rasta music, as far as I can see, I say this your music, roots music, it's got a hold on me. Chalice, make we smoke it in Buckingham Palace. Lend me a paper, lend me a fire. Make we chase away all them vampire. Light up your paper, say, light up your chalice. Make we burn it in a Buckingham Palace. Lend me a paper, lend me some fire. We have the chase away vampire. Music and herb is a healing.
Buckingham Palace. You know, I remember that song. I just left high school. So just so you know, Sly, I'm not a little young boy, right? that music was tearing on the place. But it was also at a time too, if I remember, Sly, when, because here is a song professing, the power of ganja at a time in Jamaica where just even the mention of ganja police will lock you up, So it was almost, here is Peter Tosh in your face with this aspect of our culture that officially we are trying to suppress it. And then, yes, God.
Not only that, it was calling up Buckingham Palace, which was one of the most sacrilegious.
I'm going there because that is the kind of effrontery, for you use a $5 word. But, here is in your face, in the Queen yard, in the Queen ballroom, light up your slave, and then now to learn that involved in all of this was you two guys who were essentially, it just showed just how the depth and the involvement you guys had in the music. Your thoughts?
Me?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, man.
Well, like Robbie and myself, for Peter, sky was the limit when it comes to the music. We always try and create a lot of fresh things for Peter because the competition out there was really tough and Bob was out there. So we need to take Peter in a different kind of rhythmic kind of venture. So we had people like Robbie Lynn, Mikey Chung, Sticky Thompson, and Darrell at times when the touring, but Darrell was in Jamaica to do the recording. So we're trying to give Peter the best outfit we could give him, in terms of groove, which he didn't have for that because Robbie and myself supplied that one. So he was kind of free, free to perform everything. He didn't have to worry about anything,
Well, my input on that song, is a great experience that I had by Alpha Tree Police Station, that song came out right after that incident with Peter in Alpha Tree.
Right.
And I was by Alpha Tree Police Station dealing with a matter. And a policeman who knew me well, he said to me when he heard the song, he said, wait, the damn boy can cut some good song, But if you remember what I had the memory of in the room there, and he point to a room. That's the room where people had gotten the beating from the policeman and so. But he said, but the boy can't sing, man. Hear that song, the man, a bad song that, And I laughed and I said, imagine that. The same man who beat him, is now praising him because they said the tune love the tune and the kids dancing to it. And it's like, at first I was saying it's like a funky song,
Yeah.
But then, remember, Bob came with Exodus and people were saying it's not reggae too. But no, because that was there. No, it's a balance right there. And the song was, my God, that song was something that when we were on tour, and just the intro, because Robbie created a thing like that sound of you, boom, 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 boom. Boom,
like a timer, a clock chiming in. I'm glad you mentioned that, Copeland, because that was Big Ben.
Yes, the Big Ben thing, yeah.
Well, it's interesting you make that point, Copeland, because around this time I was a regular at Epiphany with Spoogie and Danny Champagne and them boy there. And that was when this music, because when Marley came with Exodus first, and everybody kind of wonder. The trouble with Marley music at that time is that you wonder if you should just listen to it or dance. You almost feel like you're not supposed to dance. You must just stop and listen to the music. And so Marley came with this up-tempo thing. And then right behind him, there's Peter Tosh with this thing. And I remember the first time they played Buckingham Palace in Epiphany. And the place literally almost tear down. Because the song was so ahead of its time in terms of Peter always talk about
disco.
Yeah, it was a disco thing and but yet it's a travel upon the back of reggae, which takes me to a question I wanna ask you, Sly, because it's very difficult to do the show and not focus on your own input, because again you both make up, as you said, Garth, the tour is so linked that it is amazing. I've never seen any kind of combination like that in even business where you have that kind of chemistry.
Synergy.
And you almost, the two men, I'm watching an interview with the two of them and them literally finishing each other's sentences, if you will.
Rhythm twins.
And then you realize how great that chemistry is. 40 years of work. There's no reggae artist today who is not touched by the bass lines of Robbie or the drum patterns that you brought into the music, Sly. And again, all the more reason why we felt it was so important for us to do this kind of program. But I want to go back to your early days, Sly. Did you start out playing drums?
Yeah, I started playing drums, yeah, man. In my early days, I was tutored by Live Parks,
Right.
When I left school at age around 13, I told my mother I didn't want to go back to school, I wanted to do the music. And Live Parks was singing in a group called the Termites, so he used to come over with his guitar. We had a big tape recorder, so we used to record Live Parks singing, and I playing on the fans for drumming, but I was playing real steady like real drums, Because me and Will were in the same class at school, and when we get free period, I used to bang on the desk, because they used to call me Scatterlights at school. So, so after light come on two time, I feel like when 2 years under the mango tree, I eat some green mango, some cut cake, And everything, my mother said, like, there come with the guitar, man. She smiled because she said, yeah, man, music today, So, I get this little band was up by Campus Boulevard. Mikey Boo, late great Mikey Boo, drummer died. I was playing that band and we used to go and listen. Remember Bobby so Mikey Boo was going to leave the band and go back to in crowd. So, there was a space for me. So, this is the first time I was going to really approach a drum set and play. So, there was a club in Jamaica called Teens and 20. And we had rehearsed, to perform the little band. And a friend of mine called Barry was going to sing. And he was going to sing Red, Red Wine. At that time, Red, Red Wine was a big song. So, if you sing Red, Red Wine and sing good, you tear down the place. So him sing Red, Red Wine and mash up the place. And we get a first round of applause. And people clap. And some boy look like everything starts off, so look like on the way. So eventually one day I was going to check Light Parks and Ranchi. Another friend of mine, Collins, down by, they were playing in a band called Irish Invincible. So a drummer by the name of Thin Leg, very wicked drummer was there, but he was leaving to go somewhere. And I said, he can play drum. I said, a little bit. Simply play, man. And I'm playing. I said, oh, when I finish, I said, I like how you play. And I said, really? So I used to do apprenticeship down by Kelvinator, like to fix fridge and air conditioner and these things, because at the spirit time, he didn't want to be a waste man, but at evening time, we'd go rehearsal and things like that, So I used to say, you want to call a session, you want me playing this song. The first song was called Night Doctor. It came out as The Upsetters, but it was really made and produced by Ansi Collins. And it was a hit for the Upsetters. Even before Lee Perry died, they said, I put out the first song that Sly played and played with the Upsetters, And then the second song I played before I reached 15 years old was a song called Double Barrel, which was a million-selling song, produced by Ansi Collins and written by Ansi Collins. And from there on, just keep on taking one step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time.
Well, listen, we're up on a break. And what we want to do, though, we want to revisit those two songs. Because there's another song I noticed, say, well, yeah, you mentioned Double Barrel, right?
Yeah.
And Double Barrel is the song that put Dave and Ansi Collins on the map. Copeland...
Yeah, well, internationally.
Yes, internationally. And so we wanna run to the sound system and give the listeners a taste of that, and then we think. So let's go. We're gonna run to a quick break.
Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. They are our biggest supporters and confidants, and our source of bellyfuls of laughter.
And when it comes to keeping you connected, Western Union is here to make it safer and easier with their digital services. Now your family and friends overseas can send you money without leaving home by using the Western Union app or westernunion.com. Just visit jkmsonline.com to register and share your banking details with your sender to start receiving funds directly to your bank account, so you don't have to leave home to collect. Grace Kennedy Money Services, home of Bill Express, FX Trader, and Western Union, doing our part to help you stay safe and connected to the ones you love.
What makes my heart beat? Finding myself on the sunny side of life, where I can surround myself with everything I want. What makes my heart beat? Trying new foods, created by people who are as excited to make it as I am to taste it. What makes my heart beat? Keeping a promise to myself and to the one who has my heart. Home is where the heart is. My heart says Jamaica, heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
Jamaica, the home of authentic reggae music and reggae wear. Reggae wear, the gear for any occasion. Reggae wear, stylish. Reggae gear, fashionable, authentic garments. The rhythm of Jamaica. Wrap yourself in the warmth of reggae wear. Get your reggae gear today. Visit www.yardmedia.com. Capture the rhythm of Jamaica in reggae wear. Vibrant colors for spring, summer, fall, and winter. visit our website at www.yardmedia.com and get your reggae gear today.
I'm back, but the shaker was so boss, most thundering, storming, sound of soul. I am W-O-O-O, and I'm still here again.
Wow.
I can tell you one of the things that is most outstanding in that song is the flying cymbal.
And we're gonna talk about that flying cymbal thing because you know what is amazing?
Bunny Lee,
yeah, Bunny Lee, true. But what is amazing is we grew up with the music around the same time, you know. And I remember when Dave and Answer Collins came out with this song, but I would never have known until we decided to do this program that you guys had such a massive hand and drum set and bass in this music. You know, because I think you made a comment, Sly, where you said you were going to be big in this thing or something to that effect, and then this first tune became a million seller or something to that effect. Tell us about that.
Well, I always admire a great producer and record company owner, Barry Garth, you know. So I always, Larry Parks, I always Sly, always just like Barry Garth, I want to be like Barry Garth. So we're looking at the music from a different angle, because we used to play in bands, so we used to play like the top 40 records and calypso, a little bit of reggae used to play in the States sometimes, but we used to listen because we used to go to a lot of parties, and Cooper and me used to dance still, and Cooper was a man on television, I used to do some like shake like, so we kind of grew up in the groove still, so like, when we went in the studio and saw record, we had a really clear idea of the pattern and the groove that we want to play,
Mm-hmm.
So Answer Collins Hyde Parks were in the early days for me, and then when I met up with Robin, we started sharing the same idea and talking about James Brown. Then I was looking at reggae music and I said to myself, I don't know what part I can play in this as a drummer because there's so many great drummers, So I remember somebody was telling me, Herman Schindler, when I was in a session in Chalmers, I should play like Santa. I said, I can't play like Santa. You know, Santa is a good drummer. I can't play like Santa. I have to be myself. So, anyhow, I got some free time from Channel 1. Big some free time. And at the time, Robbie wasn't a part of the revolution yet. And we played one song for myself, one song for Answer, one song for Dougie, one song for Ranchi. And we said to Ernest, our rhythm for you know. So the rhythm was the right time. So when I gave Ernest, that's your rhythm, Ernest said, you sure it's my rhythm? I said, yeah, man, you're right. When Jojo come, he told Jojo, his bigger brother, Jojo smiled and said, bad. And I left the rhythm there. And the next Sunday, I went down to Channel 1, because I always go down on Sunday with the voice, and just to learn. But I can learn about the studio and this the whole thing, you know. And I heard Diamond singing the right time. I said, oh, this is wicked, this is murder, it is gone. And they put out the record, and the record just started to turn up the place. But before that, I played a song called Here I Am Baby after I did double barrel with the fly cymbal. It was a big hit for Al Brown. But a smart man like Bunny Lee, which is good, I give him credit for that. He heard the idea and he took the fly cymbal and started to use it in the song. Great idea. And then all the song for Bunny Lee was a fly cymbal in it. So I said, boy, you know, we have to change it back to kind of rock and bring it down slow. So right time was a song came and changed it from Sly cymbal back to the rockers. So by then, no, Joe just said, okay, Sly, you can just run with it because you and Ernest had work on the drum pattern and the drum sound and everything. So from there, you know, I started experimenting, and Jojo gave me the go ahead. So we just took advantage of everything, you know. And then Robbie came in afterwards and be a part of the whole thing.
We're gonna talk about that when Robbie came into the thing. But you mentioned something about Copeland. Cause I remember a discussion with some other people and tell me that Copeland was a big dancer in them days. When you have stage show, Copeland is one of the man who dip on the stage and fire down some legs. Tell me about that, Copeland.
Well, you know something, my dancing experience started really from watching people like James Brown and the Temptations, because I love choreography and so, you know. So I remember when James Brown came to Jamaica in 1964, you know, we had a fan club named James Brown Fan Club, and then a group formed out of it led by Carl Anthony named the James Brown Four. You know, and we imitated James Brown in everything he did, the slides, the mic techniques and everything. And then we started dancing at the different clubs. I was closely associated with the Mighty Vikings band. So anywhere the Vikings was playing, you know, we would get our chance to throw down our legs on the dance floor. Sombrero, Dingo, Flamingo Hotel, you know, and all the hotels and nightclubs around the place that they were playing. You know, that even when Sly came with the Skin, Flesh and Bone band to New York in 1973, I had just that's where I got auditioned and was selected to go to Soul Train, because now I take my profession from Jamaica now, and I was the first person in the United States to really get on national TV with reggae and the legs and thing, and that's when it all started.
Well,
you know,
I tell you, we're gonna have to draw you back into the studio here for talk about that. Because plus you have a book where we want to talk about as well. But we're gonna hold that. But I want to come back to you, Sly, because two things. You now drafted Robbie in. I remember the time when Channel 1 studio was just setting up, right? And if I remember correctly, there was in the early days, apparently the studio wasn't getting the music right, you know, because if I remember correctly, Alternately say he did a whole album at the studio and they had to literally scrap it because the sound wasn't right. And then the Hooking brothers started to give our free time at the studio, which you mentioned earlier. So you guys took advantage of it. Robbie came in as a bass player, but listening to him, he talked about himself getting into the music. He wasn't 100% sure what he wanted to do. He was trying to play, you know, full on with a couple of different instruments until he connected with Family Man Barrett, Aston Barrett, with the bass guitar, and then he realized that, hold on, he said, this thing blew him away. How much can you enlighten our audience on that, Sly?
Well, I know the Family Man played a very big part in Robbie's career, you know, and but when I know Robbie was playing bass, but Robbie can play guitar very good too, you know. So when he came into Channel 1, he was a bass player then, but Rancho was playing the bass because what happened is when we cut the It's a Shame for Channel 1, Light Paul was supposed to play bass, but I think he was in England. So Rancho played the bass and also played the guitar. So when Robbie came in, Rancho was playing bass because Jojo said Rancho is his bass player because he played on this It's song for him. It's a Shame, the first It's song that Channel 1 got. So Robbie came in and started to play piano on a song called MPLA, the instrumental song that came out with the Revolution. And then he played a couple songs like I Know Myself, Ernest Willis, guitar. He played on Have You Ever Been in Love, John Wood, played guitar. Played on that 12-inch Tulip by the Jays guitar. He played a fantastic rhythm guitar, you know. And then when Wailing Souls came into the picture now, you know, Ernest said, okay, we're going to switch it over now, and we're going to put Rancho back onto the guitar with Dougie. And Robbie pick up like the bass. And
we're going to give the listeners a taste, a couple of those songs. You mentioned a couple of songs here. And what we want to do, because these are the foundational classics, because you guys literally change the sound of the music around the time you guys went to Channel 1. That was a seminal period. Let's give the listeners a taste of some of those songs. Give me some.
I'm a stranger, but I love you. Hold me, don't be scared, I need you right now. This is the start of something new. Come to me, oh please, 'cause I need you right now.
This is the kind of music we all grew up on, and you know, we learning the background. You know, I mean, we all grew up. Garth, you agree with me? We grew up hearing about Sly and Robbie and the Revolutionaries, but now to actually have the opportunity to sit with you guys, you know, you in particular, Sly, who is essentially the man who was responsible for really transforming the music. I mean, the music coming from the early studio one is a little bit slower, but the kind of riffs that you know you guys brought it into the music, the whole flying cymbal thing, the whole transformation in terms of bass lines and so on, and just the distinctive sound. The minute a Channel 1 record go up on a turntable, when the minute the record go, you know, so this is Channel 1. Your thoughts, Garth?
Post Channel 1 days, you could definitely hear when a taxi production come on, like Wailing Souls, Black Uhuru, all of these songs, the Peter Tosh, Walk and Don't Look Back, Herbman Hustling, you could hear the definite Sly and Robbie sound. MPLA was a big song in the jukebox growing up as a youth in the 1970s. I think it was about 1976, 77. There's a song that was brought to my attention though, Sly, and I wanted to tell me a little bit about that song and how it motivated you to change drumming patterns. There's a song called Love Jones by the Brighter Side of Darkness.
Oh, you know about that?
That little boy, you know, that's the thing about Sly. Him going like saying he's a big man, you know. Eh? But I would never do the show with anybody else. You know, that
no,
is...
I tell you,
yeah.
Look, you know, we have a friend called Newton. I think he had a stage name called Bolivar. We grew up together in musical art in high school, but he had a discotheque. It was one of the cleanest discotheques in them times, you know. So on Wednesday night, I would go by his home by Scarlet Road, and I shoot around it. I see a record, Woman at Dinner for you, you know.
Yes.
So we play all these foreign. So when I heard Love Jones, you know, I said, wow, man, these drums, so if we could get this drum sound in reggae, it would be really fantastic. And we used to go there every night and just ask Newton to play that Love Jones song for us. And, you know, when we went down to Channel 1, my friend named Bobby, you know, and I think Newton, he came to Channel 1 with us when we just went down there for the first time, you know, and then we were saying in earnest about the sound and everything like that. And we played this Red Love Jones song. I said, this is the kind of song we want to bring to reggae, because if we bring this sound to reggae, it's got to be a fresh sound. So we eventually listened to the MFSB Philadelphia sound, listened to some Motown and trying to get that snare sound. Because I think in Jamaica, the snare was okay, but we want a definite sound on the snare, so I could really work the snare in a certain pattern. So we got close to the Philly sound and we came with an original sound. So we did a lot of test run with Ernest, and you know, and then Ernest said to me, "You think that's okay, right?" So I said, "Yeah, man, I think we're great, you know, we're fine." And then we started experimenting, cutting sound, and put plate and dub around by the bike shop. There was Channel 1 had a sound, and Paulie used to buy the bike shop and used to go in there and test it. And I said, "Yeah, man, we're fine." And then we branch out and say, well, this is it. So I said, boy, Ernest, if we don't make it, so we can fold up the thing, you know. So we really get serious and we know exactly what we're going for. And the drum sound, we really work on it for a long time. And we play and listen back to the record. The tape playback, we say, wow, this is it. So this is where everything changed. But you made a mistake. The song that I was talking about with Jano was Have You Ever Been in Love? Like Channel 1 version, but they play a different song from Studio 1. Mm-hmm. And Walk and Down the Back was cut in, put Peter and Touch, and Miguel was cut in Baysville Studio in New York, not in Jamaica.
Yeah. And we're going to touch
but
that song
still,
right now.
Still in the Sly and Robbie sound, and it's still like it recorded in Jamaica.
Because of that's the kind of influence that you guys took to the music. Yeah. Sly. There's a point though, before Garth, we're going to run a couple more tunes, but before you get to that, I remember in an exchange with yourself and Robbie, a recorded exchange where you guys were talking about, again, going back to those early days when, you're trying to break into the music, and there wasn't the kind of unity, if you will, amongst all the musicians. So, everybody is like you're trying to outdo each other. But he spoke specifically about just not getting the kind of support, and which caused both of you to lean heavily on each other. And he talked about the experience with Michael Rose and Black Uhuru. You had a couple of songs. What was it? Guess who's coming to dinner?
Observe Life.
To dinner.
Say again?
Observe Life. It came on a song called Observe Life.
Yeah.
Michael did. It came on a tit for tat table. Because what happened is like, when we started the production thing, we wanted it to be a giant thing with everybody, but everybody had their own label, so everybody wanted to do their own thing. So we realized that we left up to me and Robert to be together because everybody was separate, But first, it was me and Rancho used to do the taxi thing, but we never have enough money, so I prepared the label.
Right.
So when I go back into the studio and start getting the free time now from Georgia and things like that, I said to Robert, we have a little label and we can get some time from Georgia. If we want to cut some things, can cut some things and try, And this is when Gregory came in. But apart from that, no, Michael Rose, brother and I were like good friends. So Michael Rose wasn't really a DJ, but we're on the same little studio as Scarlett Road. That's where Michael Rose did first recording, as a DJ. So I kind of grew up with him as a little youth. Me and his brother were like good friends, So we used to walk up, take Michael on a Sunday by his aunt up by Verbena Avenue and Bay Farm Road and things like that, But Michael's brother died in a crash. So Michael came and checked me one morning. I said, walk up and said, Joe died. I said, really? I said, all right. I said, I'm here so every day at Channel 1, so anything can check me. So it was up to me, to say, because we try to bring Joe, his brother, as a producer, to produce Michael. Because me and Joe is good friends, so Joe dropped out now. So the band point to me to help Michael now. I think we went and did some couple tunes for 9, and we did an album for Blackford for Jamie. So when we were working records a couple songs with them, like, I'm saying about this group and his friend Doc and about Blackford. I said, bring them in, it's, open-minded to everything. Because right now, we're just trying to get the right sound out there. So we got a couple of songs like Let Him Go Like the Wheel, that song, and we did a version of No with Michael. And we did a song called The Age of Chaos with Blackford and Tamins together, just testing the sound and put them out, and people kind of like the sound. So I said to him, say, boy, we don't really cover the more song right now because people like the sound. So, and I told him, say, he used to sing like that as well, so we'll have to find your own sound. So I gave him Earth, Wind and Fire cassette, also for Listener cassette, and the Teddy Prendergrass cassette. I said, listen to this singer and just create your own style from it. And when he came back with, and I said, well, that's wicked. But a lot of people never like it. I said, I love it because it's different, So we proceeded to just record him, and I said, do anything time you wanted that thing. Just the song can give me a sound. And what happened, we came back from the store, Peter Tosh, and the Stones were experiencing like playing on big festivals. So this is big music now, reggae is supposed to fit into 50,000 seats, which we look one job, couldn't work because of lights, So me and Robbie said, boy, we don't know what we're going to do. So Mick used to come on stage and introduce Peter to the crowd, So when we come back to Jamaica now, I said, Robbie, boy, we have to try to find a way to take the music here into the big arena so to have the energy. So, I'll jump by the name of Phil Calendar from Studio One to play a straightforward thing on a song called Mr. Fix It. So I heard it and I like it. So I said, well, probably could use this idea and I would change the tapping part of the drum and make it different. So we decided to try and use that in Blackwood because I figured from the straightforward, there was a lot of energy in the music and do the open snare thing. So we tried it and I guess it's coming to dinner and I like General Penitentiary. The whole of Blackwood song had that sound. So it had like a feel. So you could mix all that sound together, And so Uri was a good friend of us, so he had the sound. So I gave Uri 4 of the songs and a dub plate for him to play, but only the Uri alone had the 4 songs. So if you want to hear these songs, General Penetration, you have to go to Uri. we never used to give 2 songs the same. We never used to give 2 songs
the same record, right?
Music. So I don't even know when I used to go to the dance, you were a dance. I said, well, I'm not going to dance, you were a dance around 1 o'clock. I said, really? Him say, because you can't play them tune before 1 o'clock. I have to play it after 1 o'clock. Because if you play before the dance, I get empty. So he come back and tell me, she will say, yeah, man. And that's the way Blackford break out. I was the one responsible for breaking them out. And I was talking to you before he died, you know. And I say, remember, I say, this slime, and I send the tune them, I say, are you breaking them out, you know? If you're chewing on slime, I say, yeah, man, oh, you alone have them, they don't play. I'm going to kill every son, I wonder where him get it from. So that's what.
But you're being a little modest though, Sly, because from listening to that conversation, as Robbie said, the problem with us is that we recorded the full tune, but we don't have the money to carry going further, right? So,
yeah, we don't have money. We don't have the money, so it was on tape on 9 months going to a year, we couldn't put it out.
There you go.
We couldn't cope with certain things, so the first time I came out, I think we give it to Federal, was the Penitentiary came out. It was playing on dub. I love that one, and it kind of took off, and then we saw dealing with Sonic Sound, you know? Right. And then when guests was coming to, I bought a thing called Syndrome when I was on tour with Peter. I was saving up the money and buy a little money from Peter. I was small, but you know, big times are coming. They say, I have a sacrifice, compromise. Right. Work with Peter, so buy this little Syndrome, so I said, soldier, I want to double on this thing, and so I said, this Syndrome thing, I buy, I double tap and guess who's come today and I make it sound different, you know. So I went in and double tap, and Robbie come to show. Robbie said, you're so wicked, man, wicked, and the balance back over again and put it out. So the one here, that kind of thing playing, and kind of give it a different kind of groove, you know. So the Syndrome became a part of really taxi sound, you know, that we use that as a part of a weapon. Because nobody had it in Jamaica. I was the one that had that piece of equipment, you know, and nobody could play it live because they don't know what they did, you know.
Sly, hold that thought. Hold that little thought there, Sly. We're up on a break, and we have to make sure we look after the people who we want to make sure them look after us too. So we're gonna pick that up when you come back.
Okay.
And like a technical difficulties here. Run to the music, Garth.
the ground, girls stop wearing frowns. I'm not a clown that laugh and jokes, while my structure in smoke. Every man is born a true in the natural birth. The things that the far I say to do now shows what life really worth. Don't show I no teeth can't hurt. Don't show I your teeth, plastic smile can't hurt. Don't show I your teeth, plastic smile can't hurt. She mommy came from a foreign land with a whole lot of Babylon. Now you gonna love me land, girl. You got to prove she lie on.
Girl, you leave, oh yeah, girl, you leave, oh yeah. Heart made of stone, you should have let me know. Heart made of stone, you should have let me know. Oh, I've tried everything to win your love. I didn't get nowhere, but I saw you last night walking with another guy. Guess how I feel. Heart made of stone. That's a baby. You should have let me know.
Yeah, we had to do a quick little interlude of music there. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back.
Well, and for the listeners, you're just joining us, we have in studio with us the other one half of the Rhythm Twins, Sly Dunbar, and today, and on the other side of the screen in that fancy cap, we have the erstwhile Copeland Forbes.
Abdul Forbes.
Abdul Forbes, there you go. Now, Sly, we played, Garth played a couple of songs there of
we did
Black
Get
Uhuru.
Coming to Dinner, General Penitentiary,
Yeah.
Shine Eye Gal, Abortion, Plastic Smile, and the Viceroy's Heart Made of Stone.
He touched. Well, we're never ready for the Viceroys yet, but we accommodate him. I just wanted to make the point because you guys worked on the Black Uhuru's album Anthem, and if I remember correctly, 1985 that album won a Grammy. Right. Now it also did from a Jamaica standpoint, and you know we can't talk about Jamaica music without because it's synonymous with both yourself and Robbie. And of course, a man like Copeland, who is in the wings and shepherding the artists all over the world, you know, as he is known to do. But would you say, Sly, that Grammy, that was the first album production you had? Was it with that got a Grammy award? You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sly. Yeah, I'm asking. Would that 1985 album, was that your first Grammy? The first album you had worked on with a Grammy?
Yeah. First Grammy, yeah.
Wow. As musicians, what was the feeling between you both?
All right. Let me tell you how it started. All right. We went to Nassau because this album was cut in Nassau, you know. And I was listening back to the sound of the Black Hole coming along. I said, well, I think the sound needs to change a little bit, you know.
Right.
So I flew to talk about the Simmons drum kit. Flew down to Nassau. I was in Black Hole had a different sound. So I think Robbie went ahead of me to Nassau, and I came in from New York. Bubla was there also, and I think Darrell was down there. So sent it down to Nassau. So when the Mick Jagger and Rolling Stone was working down there. So Mick said, what do you have in that box last year? Let's pick up this electronic drum. I said, wow. And he said to me, you think, Charlie wouldn't mind if we dub something from this drum on this song called Too Much Blood? I said, no problem. So the first song I played and was Too Much God for the Rolling Stone. I then went into Studio B, set up a Black Oro, tested it out and went on to record it. So we know that the Black Oro album, we were not making a Grammy album, we were just making an album to take it to a next step level,
Right.
a different sound, reggae, electronic sound instead of reggae. You know? But we did 2 mixes of it. Steven Stanley had done a mix, but Chris Blood, he should try another mix. So Groucho from London did the mix. And they changed the album jacket like 3 times. The last time was every 5 hours on the front of the jacket. Took us like a whole day to shoot that picture from 10 o'clock to around 2 o'clock. And the video for Solidarity was done the same night, you know. So when it came out, and I think, I don't remember if it was in New York or something, but we heard that they want a Grammy. We're not looking for a Grammy. We're just trying to make music to make the people feel happy, you know.
Right.
And I still don't know what to Grammy album, but just make the music, you know, for the people. And we were glad to know that the one still, you know, and so wow, you know. And everything started from there, but at the same time, Black Hole kind of split. So we never really get to
Exploit
enjoy
that
the
much. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we have joining us that beard man. I'm gonna send you a razor blade, I would think, right? Because and a watch. We're gonna send you a watch as well because we have in studio joining us, Dr. Dennis Howard. Sly, I know you know this guy. You know him?
Yeah, producer too, you know.
and of course Dennis, you're gonna pay dues for this late hours thing there. You also, Dennis, you know Copeland already, so there's no need for any introduction. Again, happy New Year, Dennis, and welcome again to Sunday Scoops. When you're regular.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year to everyone. Bye, how you doing, man? Copeland.
Yeah, man. Yes, Dennis, there, you know.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year, man, and welcome.
Yeah. All right.
But Richie.
Yes.
We don't want to leave out a little part, you know. Sly may not want to beat his own drum, you know, but I have to beat it.
beat it for him.
Yeah, but after we came back from Nassau, you know, right, and Virgin Records was in Jamaica signing artists. Sly was the first musician as a drummer get a contract with a major record label, you know, when he was signed to Virgin Records, you know. And I remember when Sly get him deposit, right, when everybody gone buy a car and girls, Sly have the money in her bag, buy him put a play in a Channel 1, you know, and all him do him said, I'm going to reinvest this back in a taxi label, you know, and Drum and Bass, that album became a collector's item until this very day. I think it was produced by Derek Harriott, had some involvement in it.
No, the first album was Derek Harriott put out Weather With Rhythm.
Right, you know.
And tell them thanks for that, you know, we're looking at that idea from putting them in on the jacket, and then I went got some Jojo, and I made a one simple Sly Man that Virgin took, and then after that I made Wicked and Slick when I go. So that's all development, and then there's 2 albums there for Virgin, and at the same time I was signed to Peter, I'm playing Peter, but I was signed to Virgin. So when the interviewer come to the interview, he has to interview Peter, interview me too. I mean, I never show up on Peter, but it's so weird, you know, because Peter is my boss, and I'm signed to Virgin, I have an album out, so Peter album is out. You know, so it was nice because I just want to make music, you know. I just want to play and make music, so. But Peter never minded still, you know.
Dennis.
But to come back to the
hold that thought, like Copeland. Dennis, because you know, as a man on the other side of the thing, there's a lot of things been happening around this time. By this time, we would have been now looking at reggae music in an entirely different light. As a man who been at the forefront of this shift with the music, Dennis, the role, your assessment, Dennis, the role Sly and Robbie, you know, played in terms of the diametric shift that the music would have been making around this time. Dennis.
Well, I've said it a million times already, and I've written about it and everything. That Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare are the greatest hit makers out of Jamaica. Period. There's unquestionably nobody can dispute that. They have been they're the most innovative producers. They have been at the juncture post 19 would say
Mid 80s.
60s.
Yeah, okay.
No man, no
You
man.
go way
We go
back.
before that. We go in the 70s when Sly was a young boy and working with Ansel Collins and contributing to songs like Double Barrel and contributing to songs like Staggerlock and all of these hit songs from the late 70s, and then we're going to the 80s. Sly and the 70s also, remember Sly was the man who changed the drum pattern to the rockers feel to make it more lively.
Right.
Being influenced by
Bunny Lee.
no, not Bunny Lee. An album called, what's the name of the soul group again, Sly?
The Brighter Side of Darkness.
Brighter Side
Yeah,
of
man.
Darkness, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
changing the music so many times from the rockers feel to popularizing the straight four to bringing electronic sounds into the music from the Simmons drum to the drum machine. People don't even realize that it was Sly who played what one dance can do. You know,
They're using
and
NPC 60
it is
and
on the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s, every shift. In fact, almost every song, barring none, very few exception, any song that made it big in the 90s, Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare was a part of it. From Murder, She Wrote, House Call, the what you call it now? I can't remember some of them.
Max
Romantic,
Wild Wild World.
pull up to the bumper.
Wild
all
Wild,
of
yeah,
the
Wild
songs.
Wild,
To even early 2000 with songs from No Doubt with A Baby, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And we're talking about in different genres of music. I remember the song Boops that featured Sly and Robbie, and well, no, it was a Sly and Robbie song. Did well in the and it featured Shinehead. They have been nominated in more as producers and artists. They have been nominated more than any other Jamaica in multiple categories.
And
R&B.
don't forget their work with Bitty McLean.
Listen, Aini Kamose, Bitty McLean, Shaka Demus and Pliers, Black Uhuru, you name them. Dennis Brown,
Everybody.
Gregory Isaacs. They have,
Jimmy
they have
Riley.
made,
The
we can
Tamlins.
continue.
There's one particular.
And the great thing about them is that they are brilliant innovators, performers themselves, artists themselves, producers and songwriters. And the beauty of all of this is the simplicity of their approach and the humility that they bring to the table.
Well,
I have only seen Sly get angry one time, and I've known him for the couple know him longer than me, and I've known him from I think from late 70s, and I've seen him angry one time in the studio, one dege time, and he's been totally humble about his contribution and always willing to share.
And that is one of the things that I made mention of it at the beginning of the show, that just watching the relationship between himself and Robbie, it's just amazing that two people can connect in the kind of way that they did. What we want to do though, we want to touch on a couple of those tracks a couple of pieces that you guys mentioned earlier, because Grace Jones, not one of the easiest person, in terms of a trailblazer by all accounts. No doubt, we want to touch on some of those songs, Garth, just to give the listeners an idea of the range that Sly and Robbie has impacted not just Jamaican music, but the music on a global sphere.
one particular song I want to start out with, and is a song which again denotes the Sly and Robbie sound.
Well, we were trying to
call an excursion.
Yeah, we went on an excursion. After Dennis gave that elucidation, we had to take you around the world to give you the kind of turn, Sly, because that is the kind of the value that you have as far as Jamaican music is concerned. I want to hear a little from Copeland. You have been on the wings, sitting on the periphery, as yourself and Dennis watching this music develop, watching these guys work. Your thoughts, Copeland?
Well, it's not in thought, because I had an integral part of all of the development, or most of the development, because I joined the Black Curie organization in 1981 after Sly and Robbie left the Word Sound and Power aggregation. And I joined them on that first tour. And what I experienced on that first tour is unbelievable until today, And then when we went on the second tour, opening for Kool and the Gang, and we are playing all over Europe and playing some of the major festivals, this gave the organization a big boost and a big lift. It was such that we had to name on the posters, we had to say Black Uhuru with Sly and Robbie, because they had such a huge following and a huge name in Europe that because of the integration of both them with Black Uhuru, the group was able to move a little faster than what we expected. So I remember we were touring, opening with Kool and the Gang when they were the hottest group around, having ladies' night and celebration on up their hips. And then one night we had a day off in Sweden, and we doing a little club, like a special gig, and they decided to come down and watch us. And when they watched us, they were knocked out. And I remember JT came to me and Kool said, "Man, this reggae thing, man, it's in my head. We got to do some reggae, man, And then they went back to America after that and did a song, Ooh La La La, reggae dancing, and mash up the charts. And it was the influence of Black Roots, Sly and Robbie that gave them that kind of input. Another time, we were in Japan, and we were touring with Herbie Hancock and Gil Scott Evans. And then Herbie Hancock came to me and said, "Damn, Cope, you got 5 guys on stage and they sound like a 12-piece band. How did they get that sound? He wants to use our engineer to mix his sound, So you see, they were creating all this impact while we were moving around the world, So the intrusion of the Sly and Robbie sound with Black Uhuru, was something and a force to reckon with. And I was really and truly happy and fortunate to be a part of that journey, and the journey all the way to the Grammys, because we spoke about the Grammy earlier on. And I was happy to be a part of that journey leading into it, because I remember when that album was mixed 3 different times and came out in 3 different jackets. And when the last song of Solidarity was put on it, and they did that last mix, I think it was Gocha, right, Sly? And when they did that last mix and I listened to it, I said, yes. And when I look at the album jacket, today, I can tell you this, I have the album in vinyl, in the plastic, same way. I didn't even open that one. That picture with the 5 of them on it has become a collector's item, right, around the world. So it was a great journey, and I learned a lot being around them. And as I said, there were so many involvements I have, not just with Sly and with Peter Tosh or Black Uhuru. I had great experience with them when they did their taxi tours around the world. I was at the helm of it as a tour manager, and when they did all their individual shows and all that stuff, I was there with them, so I learned a lot. It was a great lesson, and it was a great involvement. And Sly can tell you, my room was a food room at nights, right? I have a little 2-burner stove going constantly, 24/7. So every night, Sly come and sit down, I'm like,
Never stop, man.
Never stop.
Me and Cope and sit down until
Well, Sly,
and then we go to room and leave.
hold that thought, because we're up on a break. But here's something I want us to think, and I want, because around this time, to Dennis, your input here too. Robbie talked about playing dub, and said you guys were, you used the opportunity out there with Peter Tosh. Peter Tosh never liked nobody deviate too far from his program, but playing dub. We're up on the break. As we come back, Sly, I want you to take that point, right? And then Dennis, I want to bring you back in.
Our family and friends are a big part of who we are. They are our biggest supporters and confidants, and our source of bellyfuls of laughter.
And when it comes to keeping you connected, Western Union is here to make it safer and easier with their digital services. Now your family and friends overseas can send you money without leaving home by using the Western Union app or westernunion.com. Just visit gkmsonline.com to register and share your banking details with your sender to start receiving funds directly to your bank account, so you don't have to leave home to collect. Grace Kennedy Money Services, home of Bill Express, FX Trader, and Western Union, doing our part to help you stay safe and connected to the ones you love.
What makes my heart beat? Finding myself on the sunny side of life, where I can surround myself with everything I want. What makes my heart beat? Trying new foods, created by people who are as excited to make it as I am to taste it. What makes my heart beat? Keeping a promise to myself and to the one who has my heart. Home is where the heart is. My heart says Jamaica, heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
Jamaica, the home of authentic reggae music and reggae wear. Reggae wear, the gear for any occasion. Reggae wear, stylish. Reggae gear, fashionable. Authentic garments, the rhythm of Jamaica. Wrap yourself in the warmth of reggae wear. Get your reggae gear today. Visit www.yardmedia.com. Capture the rhythm of Jamaica in reggae wear. Vibrant colors for spring, summer, fall, and winter. Visit our website at www.yardmedia.com and get your reggae gear today. Yes, we're back here. And Sly, before we left, we wanted to visit that argument about playing dub on the speaker. You guys brought that into the certainly with the Peter Tosh tours, which is where Robbie said you think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
When I stopped with Peter, Robbie said we didn't know how to really finish the songs then. So we want to introduce Peter to the people in a different way. Like, so when Peter finished singing the song, we go to drum and bass and we play like 3-4 minutes of raw dub, man. Just like what you hear in the records. And then the people really start to get involved and people, wow, this is new. But that time now, the dub was getting so powerful that, Peter kind of get a bit jealous because when he said dub, man, people said, Lego Sly Robin. So Peter never like that no more. So Peter started quarreling and said, boy, I think I Shannon and Joe Gibson there. So me Robbie said, sure, can't bother this. So that's why I think when I time we just leave a group, because the dub thing I work for him because people love it. And it's Peter carried to the international status and we carry the yard thing right to them. And, I would also decide, so we would such a, if we start changing a little bit, I know it was a great band leader with Peter, when it start changing a little bit, I don't know if it was the success or whatever, but it start changing. Because one time there's kind of freedom,
Right.
So, but it was okay, it was great though, great. And I really want to say thanks. It's not around, but we're really taking us out there, And
there's something.
That's what we
Dennis, why I wanted you to think, because I got your thing about this. You are a man big on this dub thing and the role dub played, Dennis, in terms of Jamaican music. And so I thought it was worth when I heard the conversation between Sly and Robbie in terms of the introduction of the playing dub on the stage. And the impact it would have had on taking the music to another level. Dennis.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's about bass culture. For the foundation is bass culture, or we say, well, the British people call it bass culture, I prefer to call it the drum and bass culture. It all started in the Treasure Isle studio when Jackie Jackson and I think was Drum Bago who was playing and no, I think it was I don't remember the drummer who was playing on the particular song, who started to move the music from horns leading to the drum and bass leading the song. So Girl I've Got a Date is a classic song where it was boom, 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 boom. So that was basically the start of drum and bass culture. What Robbie and Sly did in the 70s and the 80s is to solidify drum and bass culture. And drum and bass culture became the raw material for the dub aesthetic, which people like King Tubby's and Lee Scratch Perry innovated. But without the drum and bass, you don't have nothing. You understand? Because when you're trying to do the job, the dub aesthetic of taking out instrument and putting in delays and echoes and stuff, the foundation of it don't sound the same if you're not using the drums. You know, you have engineers at Channel One with, like I think it was Bus Barnabas, who was known for his drum splash, and scientists, Peter Chemist, people like Maxi, all of them, and the foundation of that was the Revolutionaries with Sly and Robbie and Dougie and all of them. And so it coming from the motherland, and the drums are the foundation of our what you call it, identity, and it is what moves us. And the drum and bass kind of aesthetic that Sly and Robbie established was amazing, because people don't understand the brilliance of these two brethren. You know, we take it for granted because it seems so simple. It is very unique where two persons are in sync the way Sly and Robbie was. And Sly knew what Robbie was doing and vice versa. So some of the simplest drum and bass combination. Look at a song like Shine Eye Girl. That drum and bass combination. Look at a combination like Youths of Eglinton.
Oh yes.
The bass line just simple. And Sly just filling it up with all kind of different things. And then Sly had Robbie had the gift of making a nice bass line, very simple, but it's solid, it have enough presence, and then Sly not only make the beat steady, you know, because essentially back in the day, you know, that was all the drummer was to do, you know, keep the beat.
Right.
But man, like taking his cue from people like Lloyd Nibs, Sly make the drum talk even more and make it do some things we're not even supposed to do. And if you notice in the 80s when he had that Simmons drum, he had a particular sound that while you're getting the kick and the snare, you still add some nice little stuff up at the top here. So you hear some tuku 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 tuku, yes, all kind of different stuff. In the 90s, him do the same thing. Yes, you have him introduced like a 3-kick drum, boof boof buff buff, and then the snare as usual, because it's the kick and the snare is the foundation of our music. But what he did was to draw for some timbales and draw for some shaker sounds and some high frequency sounds that carried the music to another level. So while you hear the drum and bass foundation, you hear all kind of other things that you don't even realize you're listening to, and you don't realize that it hook you.
And one of the things too, Doc, is the fact that Robbie played synthesizer. So like for Wild Wild World Maxi Priest, the intro, even though it copied the Cat Stevens intro, he changed it to have what they call a marimba sound. So it just gave that extra special sound to the song.
Yep, definitely. And I tell you, sometimes we really, what we love to do, you know, is basically, and that's a fault of our interrogation of our music. We love to talk about, they make hit songs and they make people dance, but we don't go down into the genius of the work that they do. And Sly and Robbie, there's not enough. So far, there's not enough done on Sly and Robbie.
Well,
Sly,
Dennis, if I might come in here, and Sly, please. We recognize that. You and I have talked about this ad nauseum, Dennis. That is what Sunday Scoops Yard Media is about. Our view is, and I mentioned this to Sly when we just started talking, we believe in laying down the history of the music where we focus on the people who make the music. And essentially, this is one of those episodes. In fact, what we recognize here, as we're doing the show, is that we need maybe another half dozen show with Sly and you guys, because it's a phenomenal amount of material, and we're not doing justice to Sly and Robbie's work by just trying to cram this into 2 hours. Agree, Dennis?
Yeah, I agree, but let me tell you something, because I want to get out these stuff. Do you know that girl just want to have fun? What's Sly and Robbie? Cyndi Lauper?
Didn't know that. Didn't know that.
All right. You get.
So I see exactly where you're going. And
you get the kind of levels. The work that they did with Bob Dylan. The work that they did with Joe
Rolling
Cocker.
Stones.
Rolling Stones. Listen, we're talking about the Anthem album now. Don't forget Red.
Simply Red.
No man, Red. Album Red by Blackford.
Red. Okay, right.
Yeah.
That was labeled by the Rolling Stone number 23, the greatest album of the 80s. You hear me? Songs like Spongy Reggae, Carbine was on Chill Out, Youths of Eglinton and all of them songs there on that album. A killer album. And we and then hear the wickedest part. That was just straight but drum and bass, because no hands was in Sly and with Black Horror music until Anthem. So what Sly was doing with that first album with Sensimania and Shine Eye Girl, and then Red was the second one, Sly? Red was the second one, no?
Huh? Red was the
second one, right?
No, the third one, because the same remember the showcase come out first.
Oh yeah. But I mean, yeah, fine, yeah, understand. So the thing is now, what they did with Red and Chill Out and the showcase, what they did was to really solidify a new drum and bass aesthetic, because it only had pianos, keyboards, guitars, and the drum and bass, and Sly was playing the drums in a way that you, as Copeland said, it was Herbie Hancock who said, yo, wait, it's just 5 people on the stage, and they're making up so much. It sounds like an orchestra, and that is the genius of
Sly and Robbie.
And we also have to mention, because Sly's a man, we always mention the other musicians and give them credit. So people like Mikey Chung,
Robin Bobla,
Sticky Thompson.
Sticky Thompson.
Yeah, who else again?
Dougie, Brian and Sikalin. Daryl Thompson.
Yeah, Daryl.
A lot of musicians. We can give them credit. Dean Fraser, everybody, Number Robinson. Everybody was like 100 people sometimes.
But I want to interject something there now. Yeah. I want to say something on the drum and bass thing, because I remember Sly and Robbie came up with something on the live show with Black Uhuru when we're doing The Whole World is Africa, and then we just back off, right, and the vocals back off and leave the drum and the bass, and then Puma going into a trance of dancing. And let me tell you something, Sly can tell you, we see people strip off themselves when the drum and bass are running for about 10 minutes. And Robbie just play up and down the bass line and thing and so on, and I just drum and bass alone, and Puma put the dance into it, man. It was something to behold.
You should remember Black Uhuru at the Bob Marley Entertainment Center. Mm-hmm. It went on until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And after a long wait for Black Uhuru, the people them never left. and Sly them and Blackford mash it up. And then they went into one of those dub stuff. Listen, the engineers them had to fade down the fader. Nobody wouldn't leave.
Well, I think it's a good time that you mentioned that, Dennis and Copeland. We have a little piece that with Copeland introducing. This is a good point that we should.
DJ Copeland.
There you go. So let's turn it over to the technical man to bring in things. So Copeland.
In reggae music, we have what is known as the heart. And the heart of reggae music is the bass and the drum. And the bass and the drum is brother Sly Drum Bar and Robbie Bass Bear. Sly Drum Bar and Robbie Bass Bear. The rhythm twin. The rhythm twin. The rhythm twin. The rhythm twin. Shakespeare bass make you wind your waist. 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 Slide drum bar make you feel like God. Slide drum bar make you feel like God. Shakespeare bass make you wind your waist. Shakespeare bass make you wind your waist. Shakespeare bass make you wind your waist. Slide drum bar make you feel like God. Slide drum bar make you feel like God. Brothers and sisters, let's hear it for the Taxi All-Stars, the Black Uhuru.
Oh my God! You know, when I look at that, I remember so many things. You know,
guys, open further because we after a performance like that, when Sly came up and take the drumsticks to the bass, I mean, here in the audience, you almost pass out because that is, you know, you can't rehearse that. Tell me about that moment, Sly.
That moment is something that Robin himself used to talk about. I always talk about making the show every night better. So we talk about the real drum and bass, and so we know so the real drum and bass is me playing on the bass. And Robin say, yeah, you know, really. So we always wonder, say we can't do it too early up in the show. We have to do it at the end part of the bass might go to tune. But I can tell you something. We were opening up for Frank Zappa. I don't know if a lot of people know Frank Zappa was in Austria. It's like a 12 o'clock festival. I remember when we went on stage and saw Frank Zappa with all this kettle drum, the whole orchestra on stage, and my brother come on and said, what we can do? I said, I don't know, you know, but we have to go on stage. I went on stage and we had like 40 minutes and Blackford sing 5 tunes. I said, Robert, tell them leave the stage. And Blackford them leave the stage. And I said, I could take control. And Darren and Robert went on the front line, you know. And Byron, I think we switch with him till kind of rock and roll thing, like, but still have reggae. And Robert wind it up, you know, and Darren on the front line, and then wind it up, I say, wind it up, you know. And I make a roll from Nigel to Portland. And when I finish with that, Robert turn on the bass, and I start playing on the bass. Trust me, the crowd go mad. Around 50,000 people now, you know, say, I saw a white guy at Mixing Love, and he said, boy, Sly, don't remember me, I was at that festival in Austria. You guys killed Frank Zappa, he didn't start, he didn't play. You guys run him out to the business. I said, really? He didn't play, we had to. I said, really? I didn't even know that because we drove, after finish playing, we drove to the next place, you know? So that kind of bass and drum thing was like Robin himself think about it and did it. And then Copeland as the DJ Copeland at the Rock Palace, was the first man who kind of introduced it to the world, you know? DJ Copeland, you know?
DJ Copeland is right. We couldn't miss the opportunity, Copeland, to present that. But I want to bring back Doc, because Doc, we talk about this bass, this drum, the bass culture. That was the title of your book, right? Bass culture.
Yeah.
And drum and bass thing.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
My book is the Echo Chamber. My book is the Echo Chamber. Yeah. So as I was saying, we're paying tribute to Robbie and we're paying tribute to Sly, and cannot overemphasize their importance, as Copeland was saying earlier. You know, we have to really start doing some more work and looking at the process of their creativity, because I spent a lot of time with Sly in terms of being in the studio. I was there with some of the most famous songs were being produced back in the 90s, and also I worked with him as a producer. One of my biggest songs so far was Sly, who played the rhythm, the earthquake rhythm, and I've had a lot of success as a producer with his input, and it's always fascinates me to see that this place is so